Alright, so in front of you I have placed a piece of paper and a pen. I would like you to write the alphabet backwards in 30 seconds. Ready? Set, go.
A B C D E F G H I J K L M N O P Q R S T U V W X Y Z. A B C D E F G H I J K L M N O P Q R S T U V W X Y Z. A B C D E F G H I J K L M N O P Q R S T U V W X Y Z. A B C D E F G H I J K L M N O P Q R S T U V W X Y Z. A B C D E F G H I J K L M N O P Q R S T U V W X Y Z. A B C D E F G H I J K L M N O P Q R S T U V W X Y Z. A B C D E F G H I J K L M N O P Q R S T U V W X Y Z. A B C D E F G H I J K L M N O P Q R S T U V W X Y Z. A B C D E F G H I J K L M N O P Q R S T U V W X Y Z. A B C D E F G H I J K L M N O P Q R S T U V W X Y Z.
Alright, stop. Okay, so you may have found it difficult to focus on writing the alphabet backwards with the distraction of the man saying the words on the screen. Distractions like this have the same effect on children in the hospital. Toys and games distract children from the pain of the procedure that is being done for them. This makes the experience better for both the child and their family. It is this enhanced hospital experience that has inspired my senior project. Hi, my name is Makenzie Anderson, and my senior project is called Procedure Pals. I created Procedure Pals to ease the pain and nervousness of procedures for children in the hospital. I was born with a port wine birthmark on the right half of my face. Because of the type of birthmark that I have, I need to get it zapped with a laser 2 to 3 times every year to reduce the redness. When I was younger, the pain of this procedure was way too much to bear, so they would put me under anesthesia for the procedure. I was terrified of IVs, so this posed a problem for the nurses when they tried to stick me with a needle. One day, a lady came in with the nurse to comfort me. She brought me an iPad and a coloring book, and she told me that it was her job to make me less nervous for the procedure that was about to be done. The inspiration for my senior project stemmed from my birthmark. I wanted to implement this same idea into the Fairview Northland Hospital in Princeton, Minnesota. I wanted to give the children there a better, more comfortable hospital experience. Mrs. Mollett, my advisor, was a great contributor to my senior project. She's the biology teacher here at Spectrum, and considering the fact that she's the biology teacher and biology is my intended major, and the fact that she knows a lot about medicine really made me know that she was the perfect advisor for my project. I originally expected my senior project to be very few steps with little obstacles along the way. I quickly learned that this was not the case. There were many more detail-oriented tasks that I had never even thought of. My first step was to meet with my advisor and come up with a game plan. We decided where and how we were going to collect the toys, and whether or not we were going to accept monetary donations. We ended up deciding to collect the toys at my gymnastics gym, Twin City Twisters, in Champlin, Minnesota. We also decided to send out emails to large toy companies asking for donations, but unfortunately received all negative responses. I then got approval from the hospital board of directors. Next, I had to make flyers. This was a challenge because they had to be both visually appealing, but also have enough information on them that they said what my project was about and what needed to be collected. I then showed my flyers to many people and revised them, altering the color, the organization, and the date that they were due. I then tried printing my flyers from home, which ended up not working out very well because I used up all of the ink in my printer multiple times. So I then went to the store to purchase the rest and get them professionally printed. I then bought a donation box and wrapped it in cute wrapping paper to match my theme. Once my donation box and my flyers were completed, I brought both of them to my gym. I placed a flyer in every girl's mailbox so that everyone would know about my project. I then placed a sign above my donation box labeled Toy Drive Donations. I then waited a few weeks for the donations to come in. While I was waiting for my donations to come in, I created a curriculum for the hospital staff with instructions on how best to use my toys and games and how they would be best used to distract the children. Once the few weeks were up, I brought my items home from the gym and I counted and sorted them. I ended up with a grand total of 342 items, 280 of which were brand new stuffed animals, and $66 to go towards my project. I then came up with a list of items that needed to be purchased from the store. After that, I went to the store to buy the extra items. Once I got all the items together, I placed them in piles, and I placed those piles into bags to be given to the children in the hospital. I then sorted the stuffed animals and donated the ones that were either weird and kind of ugly or the ones that didn't have any tags on them anymore. After 18 hours of hard work, I brought my donation bags and my stuffed animals to the hospital. I taught the staff how to best use the bags to distract the children and where to locate them so that they could be easily accessed, and I answered any questions that they had about my project. The staff was absolutely ecstatic with all of the toys that I brought for the kids. My project went extremely well, but if I had to change a couple of things, I would change the way that I printed my flyers and the way that I managed my time. When it came to printing my flyers, I used up all the ink in my printer, like I said, multiple times, and my parents weren't too happy about that, and then I ended up going to the store to get them professionally printed anyways. I should have just printed them professionally from the start. I also spent a lot of time planning the small details of my project from the very beginning, hoping to get rid of anything that could possibly go wrong, and I should have been much more deliberate with my decisions from the very beginning. Although I would have changed a few things, I did learn a lot of life skills throughout the process. I learned the importance of time management and sticking to deadlines that you create for yourself as an important skill that I will use in my future. I also learned important communication skills, such as speaking to and interacting with professionals, both verbally and through emails. Not only did I learn skills that I will use for years to come, I also made connections and learned about my future. In the future, I would like to become a pediatric orthopedic surgeon. That means that I will work in a hospital much like the hospital in Princeton, Minnesota. I created the connections with the staff and directors there, and I learned a lot about the hospital and what I will need to do as a pediatric orthopedic surgeon in my future. Before Procedure Pals, I never really used my email. Throughout the senior project process, however, I learned how to compose and send numerous emails with varying degrees of formality. Although I don't use my email much now, I know that I will in the future and that it will be an important skill for me to have. In addition to assisting with my future, Procedure Pals meets the criteria of service, personal growth, and career. For service, I collected donations and implemented a distraction service for the children at the hospital. I provided kids with a way to feel comfortable in a very uncomfortable situation. For personal growth, I developed my skills in communication and time management. Being a perfectionist, I had to learn that not everything goes as I always plan, and that sometimes you have to deviate from your original plans in order to succeed. For career, I created connections with the board of directors and the hospital staff at Fairview, and I also learned many aspects of the medical field through my visits to the hospital and through my senior project paper. Using toys and games to distract children in the hospital can also be seen in my senior paper. I focused on how video games benefit a child's development. I talked about the different types of video games, how video games can aid in the treatment of illness for children, and how video games improve the cognitive development of children. My paper relates to my project because in addition to treating some of their illnesses, video games also can be used to distract children in the hospital. Much like the man at the beginning of my presentation distracted you from writing the alphabet backwards, toys and games distract children in the hospital and make the experience much more enjoyable for both them and their families. I wanted to use my senior project to impact my community, and I used Procedure Pals to do just that.
Makenzie, do you normally wear makeup over the birthmark?
No, I actually did just get it treated about 2 weeks ago. So this is, it takes about 3 weeks to go completely away. So I go to the dermatologist and I sit down in this chair and he gives me pain medicines, which are supposed to make it less painful, but they don't really. And then he zaps me with a laser, individually.
That thing hurts. I've had it done.
It's so painful. And he does it about 200 times to get my whole birthmark. And then it swells up that night and it gets really, really red because it's bruising. And then it gets lighter gradually as the bruising decreases and it takes more of the blood away with it. So then it lightens my birthmark because it regenerates itself. So this is about 2 weeks.
So what do you do now to distract yourself?
I hold stress balls and I squeeze my mom's hand.
And I've never seen the birthmark. I've never noticed it before. So
Yeah,
is it to the point where you really you just can't notice it just right now because you just recently had a treatment, is that?
Yeah, when I was younger, it was really, really dark. Like when I was born, I was kind of an ugly baby because my face was, half of it was really dark. And so as they treated it since my parents treated it since I was about 6 months old, and we've been doing it really regularly since then, it gets a lot lighter. So the more treatments I do, the lighter it gets. But they said that it'll never stop like regenerating itself, so I'll always have to get the treatments done.
Really? So you're actually killing the part that makes the pigment or whatever that makes it red? Or?
Yeah, I have, like, it's where the blood accumulates in my cheek. Like, it doesn't get enough blood flow, and so it just accumulates there. And so if it's left untreated, the blood just, like, piles up, and it kind of, like, bumps out, and it gets raised, and it gets really dark, and it's really not good looking. And so they can't reach the root of the birthmark, the type of birthmark that it is. I don't know. They just haven't come up with the technology yet to like reach the root of it, but they can like knock it back. And so that's what they do is like about the time where you get to noticing it without makeup on, then I get a treatment done, and then it kind of lightens it, and I can still see it, but other people, they always tell me that I can't even tell that you have a birthmark. So I guess it's working. It's good. Thank you. Thanks.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And so you were able to raise everything just from putting up a box of Twin City Twisters?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it was amazing, the reaction from my teammates. Like, we're a really, like, donating-oriented club. Like, we really like to give back to the community, and so it was amazing to see, like, the girls, I just put a thing in their box, and I just mentioned it a few times, like, in the locker room, and I was like, hey, don't forget to donate to my senior project, and I got such a great response. It was amazing.
Oh, has having a birthmark in, because you're a gymnast, a very good gymnast, has it impacted you being an athlete at all?
Yeah, well, like, in gymnastics, they can actually judge you on your appearance, which is kind of weird.
Really?
Yeah.
Not fair.
So if they don't like the way that you look, they can take tenths off for it, actually. And so, yeah, so I never get the treatment done during season, obviously, because I don't want to get deducted for that. And then they just look at you weird, and like they say, because they can label it as a distraction. And so I can't get it done during season, so that's where it kind of poses a problem, because I do gymnastics year round. And so I have to kind of slip it in here and there where like I'm not going to be competing, but then
Have you ever been back before?
yeah, I have for my birthmark before, because like I've gotten it lasered, and they were like, just so you know, we count that because they can label it as a distraction, and so that's how they can. So they tell your coaches, and they were like, we just want to let you know that her face was distraction to us, and so that's why we took off.
I just don't get that.
Yeah.
Something's wrong with that.
Yeah.
Is that why you said that in class yesterday?
Yeah, they always. I don't know. It's just. So I'm kind of self-conscious about it, but only when I get the spots done. Like.
Well, why wouldn't you be?
Yeah.
You know, because
Yeah,
of that, but
exactly.
that's wrong.
Yeah, like I went to after I got it treated the last time, it was really dark, and the next day we went out to eat, and a guy actually took a picture of me, like, in the restaurant, and I was like, okay, like,
Did you ask him if you could give him your autograph?
no, I didn't. My dad
Gosh.
said that if he was there, he would have been really mad at him, but it was just me and my brothers, and
so you some guy like just took his camera kind of went
yeah,
over
and he like kind of, and I looked at him, and he was like, and he like hit it, and I was like, yeah.
No, he recognized you from your gymnastics.
I was gonna
That's
say,
gotta
yeah,
be
I
it.
was talking about myself. You want my autograph too?
Are you going to do
Someday I'm gonna
gymnastics
be in
in
the
college?
Olympics.
Yes, I have a full ride scholarship to the University of Arkansas for gymnastics.
Awesome.
You've had it since ninth grade, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, she is amazing.
Yeah, they recruit really early for gymnastics, so I've known since, like, they recruited me 9th grade, but I committed 10th grade year.
Yeah.
And that's in Fayetteville, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it
I'm
down there.
from those parts.
Really? Oh, it's so awesome down there. I love it so much.
Yeah,
I can't wait to go. Yeah.
For you.
Thank you.
Great
job.
job.
Good job.
Thank you. Do you want me to pause this, Mrs. White?